We are? Okay, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Now, this is Friday morning. It's not even raining as bad as it's going to be in a little while. You got some of the wind coming in. I'll do the update. I wanted to wait for the next one. Why? Okay, for those who like hurricane coverage, my next video, if everything works out, will be there will be no other reporter, because you got reporters that come to the cities, you know, they like to, no other reporter will be reporting the way I'll be reporting the next update, okay? Say, how can you be sure? But trust me, we will make unique news, because there will be no other hurricane report, I guarantee you, from somebody that's out reporting like you'll get on the next video. Now, but I decided, let me go ahead and start this one now, because I want to read a few. I read Isaiah 14 last night, and I wanted to kind of when I do the rollouts, and today I'm going to try and give you as best coverage as I can. The update. Last night, my family did leave, okay? They fled Flower Bluff. So I'm here by myself. Now, we have so many dogs and cats, and all of my kids, we must have the total of, counting all of my daughter Rebecca, the one she has out there, we must have 20-something dogs. And probably at the ranch, here we know, yesterday we had 5. My daughter Debbie, who lives in the bluff, was going to stay here and brought the other dogs here. And my puppy Troy, who's my dog, he's here. And he's going to be okay, all right, for my family if you watch them. Because I said last night, I said, look, because when you look at the storm, and I'm not giving anybody that's in a flood zone the advice from Mayor McComb, who made it to national news because they showed clips. If you're in a flood zone, and these are zones that were showing in the red, Bill Vesey, the weatherman on Channel 3, they were showing the areas that are in the red. Because if you get like a certain amount of rain along with the storm surge, that's really the biggest danger here on the Gulf. So people on Padre Island and people on Flower Bluff is not an island, but a peninsula. I should look it up. We're surrounded, Flower Bluff, where you see me now, okay, we have water here on 3 sides, okay? So we're not an island, but we're surrounded by the Oso Bay, the Intercoastal Waterway, and there's a bridge, JFK Causeway, that goes over to Padre Island. So during bad storms, it's possible with bad, if you had a 12-foot storm surge, it would be possible that all of this Flower Bluff could be underwater, okay? And I think it was Celia, where the people that were here, I wasn't here, and that was 70, said it was underwater. So for those areas, primarily because a few things, the media does indeed have a time. You know, there were a time in history where you didn't have satellite images. And people do panic, okay, because they see the size of it. Now, this is going to be bad because of flooding. This is what I said the last hurricane we had, actually. But it's not, it's supposed to be a Category 3, so later videos you're going to see more wind. Look it, this is nothing right now. But Category 3 is bad, 120 mile an hour or something like that winds, with gusts to Category 4, which is 145 miles an hour. So, just for those that watch, the advice is if you're in that flood zone, Mayor McComb has said, you should leave. And you could still leave right now until about maybe 2 o'clock today. But my family left, okay? They did leave my little dog, Troy, because I said last night, I said, because I watched the coverage, I said, because of the storm surge prediction, 6 to 12 feet, which they were predicting possibly for this Flower Bluff, I said, then that would be, you should leave. Now, this morning when I looked at it, it seems to be going, and those of you that say, John, but we don't like how you connect all your other prophecies and Bible, look, you should like it, because you know where the storm is coming in. Now, the eye is supposed to come in right where I did that walk, all right? Rockport, all the way to North Beach area, those are cities called Rockport, Port Aransas, Aransas Pass, past Ingleside, and Portland. Those happen to be the cities I did the walk on. And the eye looks like that's where it's coming. Now, because the eye is going there does not mean everybody south of the eye is safe. But hurricanes like these that come in from the Gulf, anything that's right on the north side of the hurricane really gets the worst. The storm, of course, comes around in a circular motion, and people on the south side of the eye also get it. But if this storm was predicted to come in just a little south of Corpus Christi, it would have been much worse. And it was last night. They thought it was going to come in right a direct hit. So with all those, that's where it's coming in, where my walk was. And a little north of Rockport is a place called Port Lavaca, and that's what they're thinking is where the eye comes in. All right? So let me just give you that, all right? So my family left, all right? I have Troy here. The few comments from the Isaiah 14, which they're good because they come up when I'm doing these just little unplanned rollouts. By the way, people have patterns. You know, today I got up, I have 2 teaching videos where I review Acts 21's coming up, and Sunday sermon I did last Sunday at my daughter's. People have patterns, and today I got up and my family was still evacuating. They're gone. But I did my worship time, okay, for about an hour. Then I came out here and did my intercession time, my prayer time. For the president, for Catherine, the sweet little young girl, for all the other things. That's a system. That's a pattern. Okay? Regardless of all the other things that people are focused on, that's an important thing. So I'm grateful that I did my prayer time. And I was going to review the first teaching video, next one that's coming up. And sit here and you spend an hour, then I write those little notes. And I still wanted to do that. I wanted to keep the system. But, of course, there's an excitement, meaning you're reporting on stuff. So I wanted to, I skipped that little part. But I'm here. The next one will be this unique video. No reporter anywhere will do it that way. For the Lord, this is Isaiah 14, the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, who will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. The strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. It's kind of a theme I was teaching the last few weeks, how the alien comes in, a partaker of the commonwealth of Israel. Paul says that in Ephesians. We have now come in and got these benefits through Christ. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land for servants and handmaids. These are the others that were oppressive to God's people, okay? And Isaiah says, now they're going to come in to you. They're going to see the rule of God among you. I like this part. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. The church will then have such an authority that the governments of the world will say, no, we now recognize really that God's in charge of everything. Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. You know, when you read judgments on Babylon and Revelation and so forth, it's talking about kingdoms that, worldly kingdoms, that everybody had their hopes in. Economies, and we're going to do good this year, and markets. And it says, but when judgments come, people realize that all of that is temporary. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of rulers. Now, there's the judgment. This is Isaiah 14, which is one of the few chapters in the Bible where we see, it talks about Satan, Lucifer, son of the morning. But I'm not going to hit too much on that. It says, but you said, Lucifer said, verse 13 of Isaiah 14, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation, besides the north. That's where the church is. At the end of my prayer, we are in the city of God. And I pray that particular one, that God's city we are dwelling in that city. And Lucifer wanted to exalt himself above the stars. You know, stars in Scripture are rulers, leadership, messengers, and all. God has given to the people of God a position not above God, but we are joint heirs with Christ. We are ruling with God in his kingdom. He's given that to us. And Satan wanted, we often read this as Satan wanted to usurp and ascend above God himself. But look at that, above the stars of God. Satan was saying, I want to have leadership over the sons of God. And that was the temptation of Jesus in the wilderness. Just bow down to me, to Jesus Christ. But he's made us a kingdom of priests. And so I wanted my theological friends to see that point. We have authority in the kingdom through humility, submission to the lordship of Christ. But Satan wanted, as an angelic being, Lucifer, a creation of God, but he wanted a position that angels don't have. The scripture teaches us that the people of God redeem sons of God. That's a greater relationship than the angels have. Because angels are spirit beings created by God, but they don't have the image of God. Man is created in the image of God. And sons of God, all of us that believe, beloved, now we're the sons of God. And I just found that interesting. A few more. The Lord of hosts had sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so it shall come to pass. As I have purposed, so shall it stand. This is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth. And this is the hand that is stretched out upon all nations. Rejoice not thou, Palestina, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken. For out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice, and his fruit shall be a fiery, flying serpent. The firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lay down in safety. And then I want to end with this last verse. It's just kind of some of these prophecies from Isaiah. People sometimes seek the other sources of wisdom and all. They say, we want to, look, there's very interesting things in the prophets. How, O gate, cry, O city, O Palestina, art thou dissolved? For there shall come forth from the north a smoke, and none shall be alone in his appointed times. Okay? I wanted to get that chapter out as I continue. I don't want to go too long, so I got the next reporting. So that's the update. And that's where it's coming at, my walk. And you know, I felt like when I stopped short of the city limit sign the other night, because it was almost at the city limit sign. I wanted to go to that city limit sign, but I stopped right short of that city limit sign. And for those that follow prophetic things and scriptures and all of the, God gives us signs. Okay, I've talked about that a lot. And then just what I gave you overall, that the advice, take the advice that local officials give you. Last night, when it said we might get 12 feet here, then that would be evacuation time, okay? But what you do, and look, for all the years I was at the fire department, a few years back we had a storm that the city did a mandatory evacuation. As of now, they did not do that for Corpus Christi. And many people left, and I stayed. I think that day I was going to even go to the beach. But I noticed not, and I think most of my neighbors probably left, because my daughter last night was panicking. It upset me, because she said, everybody left. So I said, no, go ahead and go inland. So they went inland. They're going to stay at a friend of my daughter's, but it's inland. The main thing is to get right off the coast, the low-lying areas. That was the main thing. And so they had mandatory evacuations. Rockport area, Port Aransas, all the spots, okay? Spots where I walked is where they got these mandatory evacuations. So for the first one, I just wanted to give you that update. This is, you could say this is like ground zero. There are national reporters that are now out in town, and I could see on the news, they're not getting as much wind actually as I'm getting right here, because they're downtown by about 12 miles that way, and they're kind of trying to report there by the water, and a lot of them are looking for because that's how they build it up. this storm is my storm, okay? If you saw the other post, so this is it. You had reporters talking the last 2 days, like Syria and all those things. So you had all of the fear that people have when a bad storm comes. And yet you had mercy and grace. So there's still going to be damage, and there's still going to be high winds coming. And hopefully we'll catch all those. The phone hopefully will work fine. And this will be the first one for today. And look at that Isaiah 14, all right? Bless you guys. And the scripture says, the voice of the Lord is upon many waters. And God's our refuge. Okay? God's our refuge. I put on my fan. I secured the things I had to secure. So this is number one. God bless everybody.